Welcome to the Isle of Misfit Rolls, a 5e D&D actual play where the only difference between heroes and villains is perspective. Thank you for joining us tonight, and don't forget to catch this episode on YouTube later on and Sunday on podcast networks around the globe. Today, things are gonna... Not only are they late, but we're mixing it up a little bit. Today in that the top left square, oh my god. Today in the top left square, we have the Divine One playing as our Tiefling Paladin, Laurel. We have Ellen.
Hi!
And in the middle left, we have the Queen of Slice and Dice herself playing as our Sticky Finger Tiefling, Rogue Tally. We have Jenny.
Hello.
And in that top right square, keeping this stream running, pushing the ones and the twos, playing as our Divination Wizard, giving the enemy the ones and twos, playing as Olmus, we have Adam.
Hey, if your bourbon is not from Kentucky, it's not real bourbon. Just a little clue.
And in the middle right, rolling the ones and twos, bleeding from the eyes, hating on Mo, playing as our Blood Hunter, Aviana, we have Erica.
So what's it? Wait, it's whiskey if it's not bourbon, right?
Right.
They're the same thing. It's just one is made in a specific place.
Bourbon is a kind of whiskey,
Okay.
but it's a special whiskey
Right.
that's only made in special places.
But what about
Uh-huh.
rye?
I don't know anything about that.
Raw. Okay, I'm on to Google. We're on it.
Rye is Canadian whiskey.
Okay, so
What?
gross. Gotcha.
No, rye is American. What do you mean? No, Canadian rye whiskey is okay. It's a thing. Anyway, wait. What are we doing today?
Getting resized.
I will go down this Wikipedia drop hole, and we will not come back from it. Don't test me.
And in the bottom middle square, we have our little trash panda. Feel free to give him treats with those points. I think they're called points. What are they called, people?
Gold.
This is gold.
They are called gold. Feed, make him grow large with food. But if I want to know what happened last week,
Wait,
where
who are
would I
you?
go?
Who's this guy
What?
in the middle? You never introduced the man in the middle.
Oh, me? In the top middle square, tripping over words, not knowing what they're doing. You have your DM Mike. I say the hellos. But if I wanted to know, and people want to stop hearing me talk, where would they go?
I guess me. I'm going to attempt to do this. I'm the best note taker of the group, so it's only fitting that I'm the person who does the recap. It's a lie. I've never taken notes in about 4 years. So last time, we woke up. Laurel came out of her curse and became her old self, and we figured out she's from the past, and maybe she's got a bunch of secrets. We'll figure that out as we go. Captain America, or Lusander, had us...
Captain Veritas.
Yeah, invited us to a party, and we hung up with the townsfolk, and they're like, hey, we're leaving tomorrow. And all right, cool. We're going to go stay in our nice rooms because we're rich, and we don't have time to sleep on the floor. So we went back to the hotel. Everyone got a night's rest in. We woke up, and Bach had a pillow fort and assaulted multiple members of the party. And we went to check on Tavruk, who was sweating and naked and not responsive. Come to find out on both sides that he was in some sort of forced astral projection and had to fight and deal with his past and deal with some hobgoblin chicanery in Grotria. He got done with that fight. He came out of it. And him and his friend, was it Zodug?
So, Doug.
So, Doug.
Zodug made it very apparent that they needed to go to Grotria and try to right some wrongs. So then Tavruk decided to leave the party. And then Bach also went with him because he has to protect people. And it was very tearful. We had fun goodbyes. And now we're down 2 party members.
And Mo went with them, and Aviana was so upset to see him go.
No.
But you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Am I right?
Mo can literally never leave. It does not matter. Mo's still here, everyone. Don't worry about it. And now we find the party on the next day, getting ready to travel and head to Not Chicken to see what's up with potentially Chalk. I guess we'll see when we get there on this week's episode of the Isle of Misfit Rules. But
Like, are we doing theme song or no theme song?
no theme song because we got to update
No
it.
theme song this week, people. This is
We're on it. We're on it. We're
we
on
are
it.
the definition of the garbage cart on fire
We'll get to it
that
eventually.
we claim to be.
I'm going to drink bourbon now.
So I guess we're just starting the episode now. All right.
Go for it.
Just throw one little do 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 do
I need that for
do.
post.
Yeah,
Just
edit that.
play that for like 30 seconds on a loop, and we got it.
All right, and as we find ourselves, our 3 companions, or 2.5, I'll count Zodug as a half companion right now, as they head off into their new adventures, heading east, hoping to get on this ship, supposedly headed for Grotria. Will we find out whatever happens with them? Maybe. We'll see. If we get around to it. But we find ourselves with 4 party members looking around. And they see some hustle and bustle in town. They see a couple of the knights moving around and whatnot. They look like they're carrying their bags, their spindles, their satchels, and they seem to be leaving the King's Pillow and making their way down the town. Sorry. Yeah. So the knights are gathering, and you can see them. If you they'll give you a wave and a nod, and one hollers over, "We're getting ready to leave." And you can see that they are starting to gather all their belongings, and the Knights of Revelon seem to be ready to move on from this town. Does the group have anything they want to get done before leaving town? The town of Arvi?
Is this in the morning time?
It is morning time. You have seen 2 half-naked hobgoblins running through the streets.
Where's the fun
You have
people?
left your rooms in shambles, as pillows are literally strewn everywhere, including the halls.
Yeah, we kind of did just leave that, didn't we?
I mean, we paid.
Well, I have to go buy some stuff.
Paid
So
top dollar, so it's fine. What do you gotta get, Aviana? What do you gotta pick up?
I just need to refill my stuff. Whoa, okay. 3rd degree? Are you? Did you need something?
No, just asking.
Can I?
What
Do you
how
want
are
me
you
to
doing?
pick you something up?
No, actually, if you can find some crackers, that'd be great.
Why? Okay.
What?
Yeah. I can pick you up some crackers.
Thank you.
Arvi are known for their crackers.
Yes.
Anyone else need anything? Supplies, stuff.
I don't think so, but I can go with you.
I am definitely using this as a moment to not be with people. So
Does Aviana say this to Tally?
she's backing away. So I will see you guys later. And she just turns on her heel and just like goes.
Tries to blend in with some walking
Okay.
by knights. Just kind of disappears off into the crowd.
I'm keeping my eye out. Where does she go?
Going into where are the shops? I'm going to specifically look for like a place to refill my alchemy kit.
That's not too hard to find.
Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, you're able to find, and yeah, it's a few gold to fully restock. I don't know how much you've been using it lately. I haven't been keeping that tight of track, but
Obviously, I mean, I have to use it a bit because of Almus's old man potion. So
yes, which we
I
never
forgot to
talk
refill.
about. But every morning,
yeah, it's there.
Almost is given an anti-aging serum.
Yeah.
Ah. Old man
Uh,
potion could mean so many things.
Means a lot.
That's
You
true,
got
that's
those
true,
potions.
that's
It's
Is
true.
that a
not the
Musil?
potion of
Yeah.
the
Well, and to be fair, Laurel
those.
hasn't seen it yet, but I guess we should mention it now. Yeah, every morning at breakfast, Aviana will like hand Almus like a vial of something for him to drink.
Pours it on his like super runny eggs.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants with it. I don't care at that point.
As Gith are known to age rapidly once they are outside of the astral plane.
Ah.
It's an old man potion.
Yeah, you don't
Old
age
man
for
potion.
500 years and then you're here for a month and it really sucks ass.
I pick up crackers and any other like odds and ends that we might want.
Okay.
The miscellaneous thing of like I would have bought that when I was buying odds and ends.
Okay,
Bag,
and
you
yeah,
know?
while you're out there, you see a couple of the caravan folk just picking up a couple last-minute supplies, and you do, as you're out shopping, you see one of the Knights of Revelon come over, and they're just like, yeah. He kind of leans over, he goes, make sure you stock up. I had overheard last night from Captain Hellran that he doesn't plan on stopping in the next town.
Does everybody else know? I take it.
Most of the higher-ranking guards know, but
Probably should disseminate that all the way down. Because if you don't, I will. I'm not going to keep it a secret.
that's probably a good idea. Yeah, I'll let them all know, but they can get their
They'll need to
last-minute
restock
things.
too.
And because I think he wants to make after this a pretty straight shot down to what's that town called?
Ditching.
Ditchin'. That's the one. Yeah, I believe that's where we're
Yeah.
gonna be. Or will you keep coming with us to the capital?
No, probably not. We have to help these folks get down south.
Good to know someone will be helping them. I really wish I could help them myself, but
I mean, you
orders are
can.
orders.
Theoretically, we'll meet you back up. We're coming back up to the capital after we go down. So technically, you're not entirely going against your orders. You end up back there eventually.
Yeah, but Hellran seems pretty hell bent on getting us back to Koschei 2 days early than originally. I think this captain thing's getting to his head a little bit. I think he thinks he's gonna keep this position.
I feel like I read an old quote about power, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
We
those
know-
quotes,
we know-
always saying stuff.
Yeah, we know why they're going back so fast, right? Like, this is the thing that we know.
Yeah,
But
you know, they
forgotten.
were given orders to return all the higher ranking nobles in their party were brought back weeks to up to a month or two ahead of time.
Yeah,
Like
and
a
now everybody
particular
else.
friend of yours.
Yeah, and they're all going back just because everything is going to shit, and they're
Yes,
locking the city off. Okay.
It's kind of been mentioned they're planning on locking the city off, and they're going to essentially hold out and bunker down and try to. Yeah, like things are not right in the world, and obviously the powers that be in Koschei have kind of figured this out, and they're like, these are probably human problems. Humans normally cause all the problems. We're just gonna bottle ourselves up, and they can deal with it. Worst comes to worst, we stay here for 50 or 60 years, and most of the humans will be dead, and then we can go back to doing our thing.
Gotta love elves. Okay. So, yeah. So Aviana says, yeah, just tell people. I'll tell people. Otherwise, you're gonna get complaints to stop. So,
What you buying? Looks like you got some good crackers there.
yeah, there's like a shop down the street that just has some.
Wait, I'm gonna go grab some. Hopefully, you didn't buy them all out. As he says that, as he kind of hops, skips, and jumps and upbeats, walks over to the Cracker Emporium.
It's a Pepperidge Farm
Good
outlet.
luck.
Petridge Farm remembers.
Anyway, so Aviana spends the next little while also kind of finding somewhere tucked away behind Nally and having a small mental breakdown. What's everybody else up to?
Tali will go back and grab her things from her room. And
Makes pretty logical sense.
yep. And then she's gonna go try to find wasn't the woman's name Mary that distills that really, really high proof alcohol?
No, that was Margaret.
Margaret.
Old Margaret.
Okay, old Margaret. I'm gonna try
Old
to find
Margaret.
old Margaret.
And old Margaret would be with the caravan.
Yep,
So are
that's
you
what I'm
heading?
doing.
You're heading there now, or you're gonna wait till the group? Like, you guys will be traveling with them in a little bit. So I don't know if you want to head there early or wait for the rest.
I mean, if I'll see what everyone else is doing first.
Okay. Anyone else?
When Aviana runs off very quickly, Laurel will just look at Almus, who might be the only one left, and
I'm hanging
say,
out.
And Mo,
"Does
unless he's invisible.
she always do this?
I always do. Which part?
The
The what was that? One more time?
the being odd and running away?
Oh, yeah. That's pretty common.
Yeah.
Why?
She needs her space. Give her space for 5 minutes. She seems good. Don't hurt nobody. No harm, no foul. I don't know. I don't spy on her, so I just assume she needs a minute.
Well, does anybody talk to her and ask her if she is okay?
Oh, because I would have left out a little bit after Aviana
Mhm.
left because I was still watching her. But yeah, no, I mean, we're friends. Yeah, we're friends. We talk.
Yeah. So you do ask her if she is okay.
Yeah. But
Laurel
she
seems
likes
unconvinced by this.
she she mostly just likes to be alone, and I give her space, and she locks her door, and then I pick the lock and I go give her a hug, and then I leave and relock the door for her most of the time. That's kind of how things work.
Interesting. That is custom.
Yeah. Um, with Avi, yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not
her
gonna,
eyes
like,
dart to Almas, who is shaking
Shake his
head.
head. No, absolutely, that is not normal.
for her it is.
Yeah, I mean, each person is like an intricate flower where they're all different. That's not flowers. That's
You're
snowflakes.
like an onion.
Kind of
Like
like
an onion,
everyone's like
lots
an
of
onion.
layers.
No, everyone has their own thing. When Aviana needs help, we talk to Aviana. Everyone does it individually. But a lot of times, she just does her own thing. You just let her do her own thing. Everyone has their, not everyone, not me. Most people have their weird quirks. And you just gotta let them work through it. But we're always there for her if she needs it.
Not Almas, he's perfect.
I mean, your words, not
I
We
mine.
just
usually
wanna
have a
point out-
support animal too, and our last one kind of just left, so I don't know. We might need to get a new animal.
No, you don't.
Yes,
I was
we might.
told
This
that
joke
Bach
never
is not a
talking
pet.
back.
He's
I
not
didn't say support pet. I said support animal.
animal. He is an animal. Yes.
The distinction is vague.
It's weird because he was a support pet for a time, and then he wasn't anymore.
But he was always very supportive.
Yes, that's true. Raccoons are like that.
Will you all be riding upon horse as we travel?
Mike, we normally just like hang with the caravan. Like we don't have individual horses, right? I don't
No.
remember.
Yeah, I think we just chill inside.
You guys
the
just kind
We-
of hop on a cart or ride on one of the caravan. It's a
cart
traveling
ride.
caravan, right? And
Yeah.
you guys essentially, one of your former party members stole one of the horses up now at one point, and yeah.
No, we don't have horses. We just travel with the caravan. Plus, I mean, they go at a certain pace, so it makes no point for me to go faster than them because then we'll outpace them.
Understood. I only ask because. And she pauses and she says, I think I remember having a steed.
Well, you should absolutely do that. If you got your own, use it. Might as well.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it could probably help pull a cart or two. Anyway, I gotta go get my stuff. Goodbye, guys.
I just want to point out that Laurel is asking the tiefling who's like only been out of their room for like a couple years after being like sheltered away from the world and literally a space alien on like local
What is normal
customs.
behavior?
She doesn't know they're not normal.
Exactly.
And like the one person who's actually been like out and about. I'm not trying to say oot and a boot.
Out and about.
A boot.
The only person who's been oot and a boot and is
Having a
not
breakdown.
there. Yeah,
And she's
Funny.
just off getting groceries. It's fine.
getting crackers,
Yeah.
Getting crackers.
getting them saltines.
Those crackers will come in very handy.
Yeah, as far as Laurel knows, you guys are examples of perfectly normal people in this day and age.
Let's keep it that way.
It's true and fair.
Yep.
You are the youths.
Pinnacles
Alright.
of health.
So now it's just we just have Almas and Laurel just kind of standing there in like near the town square, just kind of like, yep,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you just see the passerbyers of the knights, and you see a couple caravan people grabbing stuff, and it looks like they are getting ready to leave, and probably in the next hour or two they will be heading out of this town and continuing west past the next town, and then making their way south to Ditchin.
I mean, I'll answer any more questions Laurel has, but otherwise I'll just wait for the caravan to skedoodle because I don't have anything to do in the town, so.
She looks at you curiously and says, "May I ask a personal question?"
You can ask it. I can't tell you if I'll answer it.
That is fair. What exactly are you?
Ah, man, that's tough to explain, you know? Not really. All right. I normally just tell people I'm an elf because it makes it a lot easier. I don't have to explain things that are above their heads and they're too stupid to understand. But basically, like there's other planes of existence and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you
Yes.
gotta. I don't know your heritage exactly, but isn't it like your ancestors are from a different place that's not here?
It is perhaps a bit different for the Children of Darkness in the past, but I understand the concept.
Yeah, that's it. I am from that place. I'm not that place. I'm from a place that is not this place. And you've got to use magic and tricks to travel to. So, technically, not of this world. We call ourselves Gith. But to make it easier for the idiots, just say you're an elf. So much easier. Not having a nose makes it a little difficult because they're like, I never seen an elf who doesn't have cartilage and only has the bone of the nose. I'm like, hey, fire. It just makes it so much easier. But yeah, I'm a Gith, technically. If you ever want to study astral studies, go for it.
And she thinks for a second and she says, "Of the stars."
Yeah, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you know about the stars?
I know that they exist.
Mhm.
There was not much time for study of things that were not war.
Understand. It's actually funny where I come from. We have so much time to study. It's almost embarrassing. It's almost annoying because you have a lot of us are like, oh man, we're free to do what we want. Let's go, maybe raid, maybe attack somebody because it's fun and enjoyable. But then sometimes you're like, I'm bored, and they just spend 80 years trying to master being a painter, and then they're like, I'm bored of this, and then there's just like 100 paintings in their house. They're weird, but it's fun, I guess. I actually didn't used to be a wizard. Funny thing.
What did you used to be before?
I fought things with swords.
She shrugs. Anyone can do this.
But I was
Not
like,
anyone can do magic.
I was like really good though, and like I'll point to a great sword on my back, even though again I'm a wizard. No, real good with this one though. Like,
And she puts her hands up. I did not mean offense. I just mean anyone can learn to use a weapon,
yeah,
whereas not everyone can learn to use magic. So
it's true. It took me a little while. I don't know how many years, didn't keep count, but I switched specialties and I learned magic, and it's been a fun time. Needed it actually. I had to learn magic, but whatever.
you are very mysterious.
I have told you probably more than I've told everybody else over the course of 3 months.
Well, perhaps it is my disarming personality.
I think so. I think that's exactly it.
And she cracks a smile because usually she's pretty stoic.
I've won D&D. I've got the smile out of the stoic character. I'm a winner.
And she says, "Well, I must confess I do not quite know what to do with myself because I do not remember much. Things here and there I recall things."
I don't want to focus on it and think about it too much, but if you are guessing about 700 years ago was the last time you were awake, yeah, a lot of things have changed. Basically, everyone you know is probably not here anymore. That's probably got to be real tough, but you get used to it eventually.
There is someone that I cannot remember, but I do feel very strongly. I do not know.
Maybe if we focus on that, that can help you gain a little focus or something. You got to have something, because when you were used to having something and then it's gone, you have to find something new. And I've struggled with that, and that's why I went to magic actually. But it's tough, but we'll get you there. Maybe we'll help. I don't know.
And this is why I was asking if anybody has checked in with Aviana, because it seems that this kind of conversation could be beneficial to her as well.
We can try. We can try. Aviana's great. She did not lie, but withhold the truth from some people, and they got very upset at her about it, understandably. So I give it to her at her pace. Good thing she's not here to hear this, because I don't know how she'd react. But I don't know. I agree. We probably need to figure that out. Honestly, hey, you're very charismatic. You could probably talk to her much better than I could.
And she looks kind of amused by that thought. I have always been told I have a commanding presence. I am not certain that charismatic exactly is the best word.
It's a word. So you could try. I think you might be able to get out of more out of her than some of us. I don't know.
I do have questions for her.
But there you
Do you know her hammer that she has?
go. Yep.
Where did that come from?
Oh man. Uh, she got it from a friend.
Well, okay. That is vague and unhelpful, but
No insight.
well, she can tell that he is not telling the truth.
Don't
And
need a roll for that.
Yeah.
she says, I recognize it, and I
Oh.
was curious.
You really should talk to her about that. Only reason I don't want to give her business out there. It's not my place. That's why I didn't tell you more. But the fact that you recognize it means you should definitely talk to her about it. 100%.
And she nods. Well, does she return from running away after a certain amount of time?
I turned down the road. Where's Aviana? Is she coming now?
Has it been long enough for me to have had crackers and had a good moment to not be okay? And I don't know how long they've been standing around chatting for.
They've been awkwardly standing around chatting for a while. I don't know if it's time for, if they were to say go back to the inn and gather their belongings and come back out, it would probably time perfectly for some unknown reason.
I think
that
that's
they
what
would be
happened.
walking out with their stuff and you be walking back.
I think that's what happens.
Perfect. That's what
Maybe
happens.
they've even gathered your things for you before checkout time.
I did
Oh,
want
that's
to
really
ask,
nice.
how terrible is upstairs?
It's bad. There is literally a pillow trebuchet in the hallway.
Okay, when Tali arrives, I will straighten things up.
It'll take some time, but
That's fine. I will do that, and I will, if I have to, I will mend whatever I have to. Yeah, and if things are still like terrible, then I'll toss the innkeeper like, I don't know, a gold or two or something.
okay. Okay, so yeah, your other two party members come up. They gather their belongings, maybe help you tidy up just a little bit, and then yeah, the
Oh. Did I want to check Bach and Tavruk's room just to see if they left anything behind.
it's been cleared out,
Okay.
and then not too long after that, a couple of the workers at the inn come up and they're like, "Oh no, do not worry. This is part of our job. We've seen much worse. There's no vomit and alcohol spilt all over the place. These are just pillows. This is much easier to clean than some of our normal, more rowdy guests that come through this way."
Are you sure? I mean, it was.
You
They
should
were
have
my
seen it
friends.
a week or two ago. It was crazy.
Oh, really? What happened a week or two ago?
This band came through. They were small, but yes, they absolutely trashed the place. We only got it put back together a day or two before you and your party arrived.
A band? Who
That's what
who
they
was this
claimed to be.
band?
They looked way too small to be. They were, I don't know, 5 pixies or something like that.
I can't remember if I'm supposed to know that it's Trixie and the Pixies or not.
We saw them in Footloose Town.
This
Or
is
we
like
heard
the
about them in
Okay,
fourth
Footloose
okay,
Town.
time
okay,
we've
okay.
seen a reference to Trixie and the Pixies.
Okay. I just couldn't remember because we retconned some things. Were they by chance Trixie and the Pixies?
Ah, yes, that would be the one. Horrible, horrible people.
Really?
They said it was all fun, and they apologized, and we were compensated for after. But they said they're just having a. And you see, like, air quotes pop up, like, a good time, and that we needed to chill out.
Did they say where they were heading?
No, but we could not have them get there fast enough.
Hmm. Did they actually perform while they were here?
Not I would never be at a. If they did, I would steer clear of it. I don't even know how they could even afford to come here. They seem to have a fair amount of gold.
Interesting. Well, if my help isn't needed, then I guess I'll pick up my things. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure.
And I'll like tip them, however many workers are there, I'll tip them each a gold.
Okay. They thank you greatly,
many-
and then they get to work.
How many people
How many
is that?
are there? Roll a d8.
Oh, fuck, okay. Seven.
There you go.
All right. That's fine.
And just after they're doing that, you see your party members come in. They've grabbed their stuff, and the three of you head out to the street. And as you head out to the street, you see more. The amount of knights that were in the street before has definitely dwindled. There's probably less than half of what there was before. It looks like they're probably starting to fall into rank and getting ready to leave. But you do see in the opening a slightly dirty, slightly distraught blood hunter human coming towards you.
I don't look distraught. I look just as grody as I normally do.
Are your eyes bleeding?
No, they're fine.
Okay. Are they red from tears?
You know what? Knowing Aviana, her whole face probably is red as if she has splashed cold water on it. But
Do you look as though you normally do whenever you're upset?
She doesn't think so. She never thinks she looks upset. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll just go grab my stuff. And I'll meet you guys back down at the.
We've got your stuff right here.
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, cool. Okay. Never mind then. I guess let's head out. Let's head out. I got your crackers, by the way. I don't know.
Mo will appreciate these very much.
Yeah, I figured as much. God damn it.
Oh, who is Mo?
Oh, he's the little guy.
No, this is Laurel asking.
Well, I know this is me telling you.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, this
gotcha.
is the little guy. He's a familiar, but he's real cool. He's cool. He's cooler than a familiar.
Is he invisible at this point, or is he? When you say that, he pops into?
No, I guess he'd be look like a bat right now. But you've seen it. You've seen him before. You saw him in the tent.
A lot of
Yeah.
shit was going on in the tent, though.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in the tent.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that I have one, a familiar too, and I just imagine Esme's flapping around somewhere. Black, tiny unicorn.
Oh.
You got pets.
Yeah, I forgot. We don't need more support pets. We
Well,
have enough.
I'm adding a fine steed to the party, so
for
that's exciting.
There are so
Everyone
many
gets a
ways.
support animal except the one who constantly has breakdowns.
Dogs once.
Yeah, and then we left them behind
We left them behind.
for their own good.
And so, yeah, looking around, you can see everyone's packed up their stuff, and they look like they're starting to make their way out of town. And looks like the open road is what is in the future for this group. Unless there's anything you want, we can fast forward to you guys rejoining the caravan and starting your way.
Yeah, I
And
do
this
want to rejoin the caravan, but I do want to find old Margaret.
Okay. Oh, is that the first thing you're gonna do? Or are you gonna wait till you think, or are you just gonna like, hello, caravan, give me the old lady?
I assume that like as we're walking up, people are still getting like ready and like tossing things onto
Yep.
carts and stuff like that. So if she's
Yeah.
someone I've met before,
You have
then-
not met old Margaret. She does keep
Okay.
to herself a little bit. But if you ask Serena, Serena would be fine to
Yeah,
give you an introduction to old Margaret.
I will do that. I will ask Serena.
And yeah, so she just points you to one of the to a covered wagon that's a quarter of the way up the front of the caravan, as the caravan is now in motion and starting to make their way to the next town down the road.
10 minutes
Oh.
before they start down the road,
Okay.
can I summon my steed? Because it takes 10 minutes.
You certainly can.
I'm spending my second level spell slot and casting Find Steed.
And what kind of steed do you find?
As we discussed about half an hour ago, right before the game started.
I know what kind of steed you find.
As she is casting this, she's kind of like holding the spear across her chest and like concentrating very hard. And so if any of you saw that, you'd be like, no idea what's going on there. But
I need to poop.
she eventually calls forth seemingly out of thin air a very large black horse with like a flaming mane and tail. And
I love it.
she puts
Hell
her
yeah.
hand on Pyra's neck, and she goes to say hello to her and says, I have a feeling that you know me better than anyone right now. To the horse.
Insert horse noises here.
Meh.
And it kind of stomps its hoof a couple times,
God,
kicking up dust.
I wish I had Find Steed. Jesus. Anyways.
Yep. Who are we riding with today?
You normally tend to ride near like Serena, Luthander,
Okay.
Lucy, and Tam. Even though Tam's always half the time he's not there, he's running amok.
He's
And then
in a cart.
in a cart,
Or in a crate, I mean.
he hides around crates. He goes, and the children run around the wagons and whatnot until they get tired. Then they hop on a wagon. Lucy's normally spends half the time like trying to keep tabs on her little brother. Then Serena will yell at her like, watch him, and she'll follow him around for a bit. And yeah, so you're trying to get like you're about probably an hour or two now outside of town. Word has spread through the caravan and through the knights. The knights are like normal are leading the are pretty far ahead of the caravan there. Not crazy far. It's still within but there's always like a bit of a dead zone between the two. But word has spread that the knights are not intending to stop in the next town. As per orders of Hellran. And a chatter has broken throughout the caravan that should they attempt to stop at the town to resupply, or do they have enough stuff to potentially stay with the knights and stick with them? They're trying to kind of weigh their decisions. She Luthander's been taking counsel with a bunch of some of the other higher ups at the caravan, and then kind of looks to your particular group and asks, what are your thoughts on the subject? Should we make camp at this town, or should we try to keep with the knights until as long as we can for their protection?
I mean, just my tactical opinion is that the town after the next town is when you guys would split anyways, correct?
This is correct.
Okay, so push through till that town. You can rest there because you're not going to have them anyways. Stay with them as long as you can is what I would suggest.
Well, we're gonna have to rest at some point, though. I mean, the horses can't go on forever.
You can rest when you
No,
get to ditch them.
but
Rest versus refuel.
Yes.
Oh,
They will be stopping in the town, but but whereas the previous towns they have stopped for like 2 or 3 days, sometimes 4, and help the town see if they can if there's any local crime they can snuff out, or if they need walls help being rebuilt or stuff like that. Right, they've been doing their good deeds as they travel. But if you look at the map, Arvi to Zoyaka is not that far compared to where Ditchin is, all the way at the bottom. If you look on the Twitch stream,
Gotcha.
so it is almost the full thing there. So it is quite a distance once you get to past Zoyaka, and there's no towns.
I mean, I imagine. Well, first of all, do we know around what time we
It'll be about
might be
3
arriving?
days. 3 days from now, you'll be arriving in Zoyaka, depending on how things go and how hard it's pushed. They're unsure of what time of day they all arrive right now. It's hard to perfectly time out such a large party or caravan moving.
I mean, with as many people as we have, I think that a restock could be a good idea if there's, still like a week or more worth of travel.
Yeah,
what are
they
our
do.
food
They
stocks
definitely
like?
plan on stopping for a restock, but they're not going to be staying multiple days like they have been in previous towns.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's something drastic happening, I'm not sure
Yeah.
we need to stay for a very long time.
And this is kind of what Luthander has also kind of echoed, that yes, we will take their protection while we can get it, and then after that we will be on our own. And we still have a few weeks after that, potentially.
I mean, yeah, I think we can, always assess the situation once we get there. If people need help, I'll do what I can while we're there, but we're kind of on a mission.
Yep, I agree. Well, we will continue riding, and then when the nights stop, we will also be making camp.
Sounds good.
And he just kind of nods, and he just kind of goes back to spurring on the horses and whatnot, as he is driving his own wagon currently. And yeah, is there anything else anybody wants to do other than potentially talk to Margaret?
I only have a nighttime thing to do.
Okay.
And I will let
Yeah,
Laurel know. We don't have to roleplay it, but if you ever have a magic item and you want the enchantment moved from one thing to another, Almost can do that for you.
She will be very curious about that. And I thought that this would be something that your more mechanically minded friend could do.
Maybe you could. I don't know. I just know that I have a way to do it. Like if you had magic bracers and you're like, man, I don't like bracers. I want magic shoes with the same magic. I can move the magic from your bracers to your shoes.
She looks down at the bracers and she says, "These are precious to me, though I do not remember why."
Just an example. You don't have to move it.
Quick question: are you telling Laurel this in private, or are we just getting ready to be done with the day?
I'm assuming we're on the move. I don't know. I will just tell you at some point. It doesn't really matter to me.
We'll say it's getting into evening.
Wait, you can what?
What? I've done that before.
It's in secret with Tavruk stuff.
Didn't I also do it for Tall?
In public with me, yeah.
When? I don't remember this happening. Was I there?
Before we got to Arvi.
Yeah,
There's probably too much blood in your
that's why
eye.
I'm not wearing
anyway.
the chain anymore. I'm just
Never
wearing
mind.
my leathers.
I'm going to erase that conversation from the records. Judge, please strike that.
Judge, no, I think I've done it once in public with the group. I think I've done it one time in the group.
Yeah, because I, as far as I was aware, I was like, oh, we don't know you can do that. You just have been doing it in secret.
No, it wasn't.
No, he was
No.
very excited and was like, "Hey."
They did
I
offer
do
it to you for your leathers at one point. That if the group found more chainmail, they could potentially add it to you because you're like, I can't use chainmail.
I don't remember this I remember this being a conversation we had as human beings. I don't remember this happening in character. Anyway,
Saying in
Moving
character
on.
now. Yeah, we're good. All right.
We've had this conversation already in character.
Laurel would have said, "It is very curious to me to learn all of these apparent powers that you have."
I normally would never share it, but honestly, once it's public, whatever. Live your life.
Why would you not share it?
Honestly, people want to kill you for your magic items. I don't know if you've noticed this. You did it to us. So you normally try to keep that under wraps.
Technically, I wanted to kill you because I was ordered to kill you.
For our magic items.
For the crimes you had apparently committed. One of which was theft.
There we go. It all comes back around. Almost isn't wrong.
Right, but I was not trying to take your magic items.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
trying to kill you and return you to the church.
Yes, understandable. You're not wrong. But my magic
And she
item
says this
does
like
include-
completely blasé, like it's not a big deal that she's talking about having tried to kill
I
you.
mean, you definitely did try to kill us. That is a thing. But hey, bygones are bygones. It didn't happen. So things are good.
It did happen.
We didn't kill us.
No, but the fight happened.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. I was there.
And I imagine you're having this conversation while you guys are on a cart and she's on her flaming horse and she's just very casual about the whole thing.
And you
So
have
ridiculous.
noticed that the rest of the caravan, other than like Luthander's cart, has kind of given you guys a much larger berth than normal. And you have attracted a few of the knights' attention, but they are definitely keeping their distance.
I mean, they're probably afraid of another fire.
And so, yeah, we'll head into the first evening. There's again a small campfire, not small, a fairly large campfire built. And people are starting to rest for the day once that they notice the knights have stopped their travel for the night or for the day. And we are into now, like, they normally stop as the sun sets. They don't like to travel at night because they do not want to be ambushed or whatnot, and they do realize that their horses need to rest and whatnot. They are not pushing their horses to that point yet. There is talk that once they get closer, then they may be pushing on through the night, but that would probably be post ditching.
Hmm.
So they want to save their horses for what they have at this point until they know that they're close enough that if they were to push their horses too far, they'd still be able to make it.
I will tell Aviana at some point in the evening. I'm like, hey, just a heads up so you don't, get nervous or freak out.
Huh?
Laurel is going to ask you about that hammer at some point. So just be aware. That could happen at any time.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
She recognizes it. And I'll walk off.
I want to say I'm surprised, but anything that just happened. Okay.
And so Tally, you're able to find after Serena points her out. She was kind of blowing you off earlier during the day, like, we're traveling right now. I'll introduce you to Margaret later on, kind of thing.
Pestering her. Once she pointed at a cart that was on the move, I would have just been like, oh well. And yeah.
Yeah, it was just one like, yeah, she's in one of those carts over there, kind of thing, like. And later on, she's like, okay, yeah, I can introduce you to Margaret. And then as you guys sit around, you do see Serena sitting around next to an older lady who hands her a small jug.
I will walk up to this older lady.
You walk up to the older lady.
Yeah. Hi, you must be Margaret.
Yes, dearie.
I am Tolly. I've heard that you
Spit it out, dear.
have...
Spit it out. I don't have all day.
Well, I've heard that you distill some very fine spirits.
I see you being salted. It is more than fine. The best in
The
all the
finest
caravan.
of spirits, I should have said. You're correct.
Yes.
Do you sell it, or...
Mainly just trade. What do you have to offer for it?
Money.
What would you like?
I'm always open to trade, my dear. It is not what I want, but what you have to give. This is the way of the caravan.
I will get back to you.
Well, you better hurry, because there might not be much left. Am I right, Serena? And they try to cheers and both take a big old swig. Looks like these grannies are going to get a little fucked up tonight.
Would you be interested in a priest of Lunas robe?
He just kind of gives you a look. He goes, "What would I want with that, dearie?"
I normally just give people money. What is? I don't have much to trade.
Let us see. Let us see it.
I will pull out a priest of Lunas robe. I
She
could
takes it.
fashion it into something else. I'm really good with the sewing kit.
Serena, she thinks she's better than us. Thinks our old feeble hands can't do it anymore. We were fine seamstresses back in the day, I have you know.
Not at all.
I see
I
we're
just
not
want
fine
to make
enough to alter this robe, but we're fine enough to make you this booze. Spit it
I'm
out, dearie.
sure
We don't
that
have all night.
I'm gonna fucking murder this old lady. I'm sure that you are far better than me. I just wanted to make sure that whatever I trade you is worthy of the finest spirits in all the land.
And until that, you can figure out what that will be, and I will see you tomorrow, my dear. Now be off with you.
Mm.
And as you start walking away, give me a perception check.
I'm gonna fucking fuck this old lady. Oh. I don't like her now. Oh, hold on, that's cocked. A natural 20 plus
So
11.
you hear them like laughing, and you just hear Serena like, "Oh, why would you do that, Margaret?" She's like, "I don't have that much time left. I might as well have some fun." I'll apologize to her in the morning, but you see the look on her face. Old Margaret still got it. And they just kind of laugh and whatnot.
Mm.
That's a bunch of old biddies being old biddies.
You should have just said bitches. Nah, it's all good. I mean, I still have a ton of alcohol.
You
So
can tell
after,
she was just getting her kicks by just messing with you.
yeah. After that's a bust, I guess I'll go find Luthander because he still wanted to talk to me about stuff, as far as I know.
Okay. Okay, before we jump to that, is there anything anyone else wants to do this evening?
Laurel wants to go find Aviana.
Great.
And where would Aviana be hanging out on this fine, clear evening?
Where all the other bleeding eye kids hang out.
I don't know, man. She's probably
There is a campfire that's like most people are hanging around. There's people talking. There's not as much singing as the night before. There's no full-on stories and whatnot. They seem to only
She's-
do that like once a week.
probably close enough to like the fire and folks where like she's there, but like, you know, doesn't want to talk to anybody, so or doesn't want anyone else to talk to her, so she's kind of like just a little off to the side.
Aviana is people adjacent.
It's people adjacent. Yeah.
And yes, Laurel, she's pretty easy to find because
Probably
there's
guy has a notebook
people,
in her lap.
know people, then people, or person.
She's probably got a notebook, just kind of like a couple of them spread out across her lap, and she's probably like comparing some stuff and, you know.
Yeah, Laurel will walk right up to you and like stand right in front of you and say, Aviana, may I converse with you?
Yeah, sure.
And
What's,
she'll like take a seat next to you, cross-legged on the ground.
What's up?
You seemed in a hurry to leave earlier.
Yeah, I had to get some stuff before we left, and I just, you know, there's a lot of like there was a lot of stuff that happened this morning. I kind of wanted to just be alone about it, think it through, you know.
Yes, sometimes it is important to be alone, but it is also important to recognize that you cannot be alone forever.
Well, I can certainly try.
Well, that is why I am sitting here.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm not doing anything. It's not like I do a lot of like, oh, hey, a lot of people can come and do a thing stuff. It's a lot of, oh, that was a sentence almost.
I have no idea what you just said.
I don't, neither do I, to be honest. I don't do a lot of like group activity stuff. You know?
Two people is not a group.
Well, okay, so if I do. Like, do you want me to? I don't know what to do at this point. Do you want me to go get us a snack?
No, you
do-
can leave Almas to his crackers. But she just kind of folds her hands and looks at you over like she is evaluating you. And she says, "You have the look about you of someone who has been given orders before."
Yeah,
I say this as someone who has followed many an order.
I mean, yeah, I have. I've been asked to do things. I've done some of them, and some of them I've technically done, and others I haven't.
You seem as though you carry this weight.
Oh my god! Oh, so ask about the hammer. He said I can answer questions about the hammer. That's super easy. Yeah, the
Well,
hammer is heavy.
that is not what I meant.
I know.
But and she looks at the hammer and she says, "May I?"
Yeah, just be careful with it.
It broke my arm once. I think I can be fine.
Ooh, that's
just-
not my place to apologize for it, but
No, it belonged to a general, a dwarven man. Under and she pauses for a second and says, "Terra, I think."
yeah, this is ferrum. It's iron.
And she still has her hand out in case you're going to like
Oh,
hand
no,
it
no,
to
no,
her.
no, no, yeah, no, she's gonna pull it out of like the loop, or I assume it's not even in the loop. If Fabiana's sitting down, she's kind of like nudges it over because it's just sitting with her.
Yeah. Laurel picks it up to test the weight and like swings it once, but not enough to like hurt anybody or like jostle Aviana or anything like that. And she says, "It is interesting. I remember crossing not blades because this is not a blade and I do not wield a blade either," she says, gesturing over her shoulder to her spear, "but crossing arms with this general more than once. It is was strange to see it and remember it in your hands. But
Yeah,
Laurel, give me a wisdom saving throw.
great.
okay.
I didn't do it.
Scared. 28.
28. You feel like something is pushing back at you, and it's not your spear that doesn't like you touching other weapon. It's the weapon itself not liking being touched by you. There's almost like something is putting out a strong "don't touch me"
Yeah, it was
from the hammer.
a friend of mine had it. He didn't talk a lot about it, to be honest. I don't know anything about this general. He just said there was like it belonged to some hero before, and I don't think he knew much about it either, to be fair.
She chuckles softly and hands it back to Aviana and says, "It does not appreciate uh me handling it."
Oh, really?
Yes.
And almost like there was a voice that
Oh.
said like "put me down," but it wasn't the dwarven voice you remember from battle cries and shit talking on the battlefield. It was a different voice.
It seems as though has this then she gestures she nods her head toward the hammer. Has it spoken to you?
Nope. I never to me. I know it kind of could, but again, that wasn't. It was my friend's. It wasn't mine. So you know.
Well, it might be worth it to see what it has to say. And she like puts it down on the ground next to you.
Well, I've been carrying it for a while now, and hasn't wanted to say anything else. So
Well, you have not wanted to say anything to it either.
no, I haven't. To be perfectly honest, I don't think it'd be very happy with anything I had to say.
Why is that?
It was supposed to help protect my friend, and it didn't. So if there is something, and there is a voice, and there is something inside this, I don't think I want to talk to it.
Well, if it has not told you already not to wield it, I think it would not start now. It took about 10 seconds for it to tell me not to touch it.
Yep. Well, if it wants to talk to me, it can say something first, because I don't want to.
You want to be alone.
I don't. No, I don't know. I don't want. I don't think it. I don't think it wants to talk to me. So that's all that matters. It doesn't. It's fine. Yeah. Past is past and all that, and I say that like I'm not holding a grudge, but it's fine. So,
Laurel
tell
looks-
me about this general. What were they like?
Stout, strong,
Dwarven.
a booming laugh. Like I said, he broke my arm once, but I also gave him just as good as he gave. I did not break his arm, but I gave him a significant wound.
Oh.
So, but that was not the last time we saw each other. I never got to know his name. I always thought that there would be more time after battles were over.
Did you not make it out, or did you get?
No, just. And she pauses. I remember after I had changed sides that very little, honestly. I think there was not much time between me ending my service and being locked away, as it were.
Do you know if you were the only one that got sealed up, or?
That's a good question. Mike, do I know if I was the only one?
You do not.
I cannot say. I just remember feeling as though in order to make things easier, simpler, that I should volunteer.
Was there anyone else who switched sides with you, or?
Mike?
It was an extremely rare occurrence, and to your knowledge, you were pretty much one of the only ones.
She shrugs. If there were more, I cannot say. And she looks down at her bracers and at the amulet that's like dangling around her neck. And I just remember feeling very much like I needed to, but I don't know why. To change sides, I mean.
That's weird. Like a you decided to, or something kind of gave your mind the idea that you should change.
She thinks about that for a few moments. I do not know that it had ever occurred to me before that it was even something possible. To change one's nature, one's very being, is not something easily done, I do not think. As would be demonstrated, she says, gesturing to the hammer, by the fact that your hammer still does not trust me, despite the fact that I no longer represent the people that it fought.
Well, no one really cares what this hammer thinks anyway, so don't worry about it.
And your friend.
Yep. Not me frantically pulling out the backstory document for names because I know everything about my backstory. The unfortunate part about this whole thing is that I don't know which fucking Google account it's under. Give me do.
Oh, Erica.
I'm not stalling. Oh shit. I don't have like a
Yeah,
nice, neat way to have this. It's just all in this gobbledygook. God damn it.
Yeah,
Is there-
Laurel's just like watching as Aviana's awkwardly trying to
1,000-yard stare.
avoid answering her question.
Yeah, as you're looking at Aviana, it's almost like Aviana's like reaching into like all of her pockets, checking random vials for the answer, fully knowing there's no answer in her pockets. And she has a lot of pockets. And she kind of looks at the cloak and just kind of like opens a random bottle, closes, puts a cork back on, puts it back in her like bandolier of vials. And yeah. And she kind of rolls her eyes a little bit and just kind of does Aviana have an answer for our tiefling?
Aviana does. Kind of. I am for some reason I don't have any of these characters in like a nice like point form access. It's just in this giant fucking document. Give me a half a second to find out.
Do you have any questions that I can potentially answer from remembering?
What's his name?
Relic?
No, what's his name? I forget. I
Relic's
said it
real
like
name?
once. Yeah, I've said it once.
Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. I have it. I have it. Hold on.
these. No, this is my character
No,
shit.
give me 2 seconds.
Why don't I know this?
Oh wait, no, that's way back. That's body.
I'm
mod
juggling like
shit.
6 backstories. I'm sorry. I have more than one. I played more than one game.
Ellen knows
Have
nothing
a
of that.
Punch Centric.
Right.
Oh, we don't need to talk about that.
No, it's fine.
Oh wait a minute, Brelic Raz.
His name was Raz. Okay. Yeah.
See, we talked.
Yep.
Tali knows.
Aviana's response is, "What about
I
my
have
friend?
so much information.
What about my friend?"
It just seems as though it is difficult for you to speak about whatever circumstances brought this hammer to you.
Yeah, because it is. I'm. I killed him, and the hammer is kind of all that was left behind of mostly. So I keep it because it's all I have left of him.
Laurel will pause a second and then put a hand on your shoulder and say, I know that over the course of my time, I fought many people who had stood by my side and some who I had considered friends. I cannot say for sure whether any or many of them fell to my spear, but I do remember feeling a similar pain that you are clearly feeling. And my whole point in talking to you is just, I think it is possible that the two of us have more in common than perhaps you have with some of the others that are your friends. And if that is the case, I am willing to discuss these things with you as someone who understands. But if this is something you do not need or want, then that is fine. But know that it is there.
I don't think I want it, but I don't know if I'll never want it. It's just we have this stupid thing, and we're trying to stop the world from ending. And if I don't focus on that, and I think about them too much, I think I'm not going to be able to do it. So it's one or the other, and I'm picking the not dying one. So when this is all over, maybe we can go do a big group therapy thing together. And I don't know what the fuck you do in group therapy, but I don't think I can. If it's not informational and useful to what we're doing, I don't think I can do it.
I think you can probably do much more than you believe yourself capable of, but that is just my point of view.
Well, I am prophesized to be a disappointment, so you're in luck.
And she kind of just sits there with that comment, knowing that she's asked you a lot already this evening, so
We don't have time to unpack all of that. Anyway, I think I'm gonna did you want to talk about anything? I'm awful at basically all of it, but I have ears.
Oh, well, the problem is I do not recall most things.
Right. I know that. I remember that.
As I said to Almas earlier, I remember there was war, obviously, but there was also someone very important to me, and I cannot recall this person. But he
Like
seems to think that if I am able to recall this, perhaps I will recall more.
Okay, and you have no starting point other than this is a person who exists, right?
Well, somebody, and she pauses, that I feel very deeply for. That I know.
Okay, and you don't you don't know if it was during the war or after or before the war or just the feeling is there?
And she shrugs.
Okay. I guess we can hold on to that maybe and see if we can jog your memory on like other stuff and see if something look, we're talking about cows and suddenly I remember this person really likes cows. Kind of a thing, you know?
She looks puzzled.
I don't know if they like cows. It was a figure, it was a way of explaining it. If we can knowing that you were in the war, we can maybe try and jog memories related to that will then remind you of something of whoever this person is, and then we can go from there, because right now someone as a sentence isn't I don't know where we can go.
She
God.
chuckles
What time
a
is it?
little.
What time? How long have I been reading? God, I don't. This is why we don't do emotions. This is why we don't feel them. Just everything. It's late, and I've been reading, and now Anyway,
Perhaps you should get some sleep.
yeah, maybe that's probably a good idea. I mean, I have stuff I want to talk to you about too. Just again, help memory jogging stuff. But I think I have brain soup right now, and I don't think it tastes very good. So
she looks incredibly puzzled at that turn of phrase.
Oh, no, that wasn't my phrase. I'm sorry. My friends say stupid things. Said stupid things. I'm going to bed.
Good night.
But I thanks, I guess, for. She just gestures vaguely.
And Laurel says, "You only need to thank me if you mean it. But good night."
Yeah. And then Aviana's gonna go find somewhere to like be like, I am losing my mind. Oh my god, and go to sleep.
Yeah, so you head off to the tent that you all use, and as you kind of sit down and get ready for bed, you kind of look over at your stuff and you see the hammer and whatnot, and you just sense a warmth from it, and then it dissipates.
That bitch of a hammer. That bastard dwarf. Who did he think he is?
And then, I believe Almost said you had something you wanted to do in the evening?
I could do it this night or any night. It's up to you, Mike. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, well, we're gonna end up jumping a few nights with our late start and whatnot. I'm gonna kind of fast forward a little bit if people don't mind.
Yeah, I'll just do it now then, since we're probably going to fast forward through a bunch. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, this is a little retroactively, but not really. Almost has been doing this for a while now, but I want to get it on the podcast as record as to what Almost has been doing. So,
Uh-oh.
Mike, you already know what part of it is. Basically, anytime that we've left a town and Almost gets a chance to be by himself, he casts the message. No, sending spell. Excuse me, sending. And I'm reporting to my superior, and I just make reports about the places that we have been. So the message would be like, report, the name of the town, general area.
Dear diary.
Dear diary.
Today, we went to the
That's
cheese
the
town.
name of his superior.
Yeah, that's
his
what
diary.
No, it's more of a military thing where it's like, status report this area. I'll name like if anything isn't. So like specifically like with Carling, I'll be like, Carling, threat level 0, assets, whiskey barrels, again, very low resistance. And I would just send that to my superior every other night after we get through a town or whenever it's deemed responsible. And I would also always ask if there's any more information about the gate.
And the odd time, and recently you've been getting barrier status. You'd get weakening on sometimes, and now lately you're getting barrier status different or altered.
Do I ever get anything specific about what to do with that?
You notice that a lot of that started a lot more after the awakening.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah.
It was weakening before, and now it took a big hit, and then they stopped using terms of the barrier weakening into more barrier changing or be almost not quite corrupted, but modifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then most recently you've gotten safe to reattempt entry.
Okay. So I'm guessing.
In question form. They are asking you
Oh.
if you think it's safe to re-enter.
I would just say like belay that. Status updates incoming, that whole thing. Basically saying like, let me keep working it out, but we could probably attempt it at some point in the near future. And keep giving mission reports about each town and what would be priority and what would be things to completely avoid.
And then you've gotten Armada status on hold.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. That's it. Use my sending spells for that and then go to bed, baby.
Are you bubbling up for the group, or what is the...
I mean, it's big enough if everyone wants to get in.
Are people just grabbing random... Like, most people have bedrolls, and there are tents around, and you can sleep under the stars or sleep in a wagon, or you can be sleeping in the Almost bubble.
If we're trying to cut it short for time tonight, that's okay. Just don't forget Tolly did want to talk to Luthander at some point about what he needed to speak to me about.
I'm going to jump a few days. That's all.
Okay.
And then I might yada yada a few things. No, we still have some time for this evening.
Oh, okay.
But yes. So a day or two goes past. You've had another rendezvous once or twice with Margaret, and she kind of, oh, I'm just, you know, just pulling your leg, my dear, or pulling your tail, kind of thing. And then she takes the that lunas robe, and she's like, "Oh, it'll make a fine addition to some of my fabrics." And she gives you a bottle of this crazy strong booze.
I add it to my stores.
So you have a thing of moonshine and remove the robe.
Oh, I still have 2 of them.
Okay. And yeah, as far as there's one day where you see Luthander, and you're just kind of walking over, and he's like, "Yes, Tally, can I help you?"
Um, yeah, remember, before we left the last town, you had wanted to speak to me and discuss some things. I believe it was about training, I think you said?
It was mainly I wanted to get if you were going to be holding on to my shield, that you should probably know how to use it. But I'm much happier that that it is
Oh,
back in my possession. But if you, I'm just an old man and whatnot. But don't mind me. But I saw when you were being introduced to your new tiefling friend that it was not the most joyous of occasion.
um, no, we had actually never met before. Um, Funnily enough, I mean, as you overheard, she was here to kill us.
Yes, and we should not be repeating that, other than between us and your other party members, just so we do not raise any ill will.
Yes, yes, of course.
But I noticed you were moving differently during the evening of that night on the battlefield.
I don't, I don't know what came over me. I was just, yeah, I'm not sure what that was.
Hmm. I will tell you, it was a very poor form, though. I'd be very careful. You're lucky that there's almost a higher chance that you would move into that one spear than to move away from it.
If you have any pointers or suggestions, I'm open. I kind of have, I learned a little bit uh, before I joined this group, but and now that Tavruk's no longer around, I don't really have any true fighting form to study. So
I am not
if,
one
if you,
for fighting, but there are a few. We still have a while before the knights should not be parting with us soon, not too soon. But so that may be. I hear Lord Halran or Captain Halran is quite the capable swordsman. If that is what you are looking for, my dear.
well, actually, what's the name of the lady that we travel with? I forgot her name.
Aviana.
No, not Aviana. Fuck. The other lady, the one that was hanging out with Margaret,
Serena.
Serena. Um, Serena told me,
You see,
that
as soon as you mention Serena, he's like, oh God, what has that old lady told you now?
she had mentioned that you had some relatives that used to move in a very unorthodox way on the battlefield, and they would dance, and their blade would flow differently.
Yes, that is not far from the truth.
Could you teach me, or do you?
I
Did
am
you
not
ever learn
very
yourself?
proficient in such a thing. I was more of a, how they say, bull in a china shop style of I was not as light on my feet as they were. I don't think I've seen anyone as light on their feet as they were. But I did learn a few things, but I don't know if I can teach you.
Well, if you change your mind, you know where I'll be, and I'd be happy to learn.
And as you've been talking to him, he's just kind of has been kind of walking away from the caravan as they're kind of stopped right now, having like a lunch break kind of thing, and you're kind of now walked like just off into kind of a wooded area a little bit. And he just kind of reaches onto his back, and as traveling, he has this like traveling backpack on, and he does just starts like, "Oh, no, we will see. We will see what we can do. We do have some time together before we get to our destination." And he just kind of walks away from you, and you're kind of like, "Okay, well, this progress was made." And then give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, Jesus. Um, a natural 20, +7.
And as you see him walking away, you just as you go to turn around, you hear a noise, and you look, and you see the shield coming flying at you, and you're able to step to the side as it flies right by you.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that. I will dodge it. I was gonna try and catch it, but that seems like I would fail.
Yeah, at the speed it's going in, catching it was not much of an option. And then so you
I
step to the side and it flies by you. He goes, "Huh, you are quite light on your feet. But being light on your
yes.
feet is not always enough." And as he takes his picks his backpack off the ground, you just feel off the back it hit you in the back as you look over, and this shield has now hit you in the back.
Like hard? Like, do I get
It was
knocked
a
out?
glancing blow. No, it does knock you
Oof.
a step or two forward, and then as it hits off your back, it flies into the air. And as he opens his bag, bends over, opens his bag, he kind of opens the bag up, and the shield just kind of lands in the bag, and he ties it back up and goes, "Maybe we can try this again another time." And he just continues walking back to camp.
I guess it's a good thing I kept it for you.
And he just stops and then smiles and then keeps walking.
I smile at him too, and I walk back to the caravan.
So over the next few days, you are uh, Xander during breaks will take you out to the a wooded area, put you in between a bunch of trees, and then throw the shield, and it would just start ricocheting off trees and coming at you. And you spent the next time like dodging it, and he's kind of like stomping his foot to a rhythm, trying to keep the rhythm. And it just bounces from ricochets from tree to tree to tree. Sometimes you're able to dodge it most of the time. Other times it ricochets off and knocks you down. And he just kind of every time you fall down, he just goes again, and then you get back up and he throws it again. It ricochets off a bunch of times, and yeah, that's what's been taking up a lot of your time for the next week or so as you make your way to ditching.
Okay.
And is there anything else anybody else wants to do for the next few days as the group makes their way down to the town of Ditchin?
Wait, so did we get past that other town, or are we still heading towards that place?
We'll say like it would have been a day or so after the initial first training session.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if anybody wants to resupply, it's not a big town. If anybody wants to purchase anything from the PHB, any of basic items and whatnot, they're more than welcome to.
Okay.
If there's anything particular in the town that anybody wants, please let me know at this time.
I think I'm good.
I would have no idea.
If you're looking for
I'm good.
potions of healing and stuff like that, unfortunately, the Knights of Revlon have now commandeered all those types of items, as it is getting close to wartime and they are trying to build a surplus. and what?
Yeah, I think plus we still have quite a bit.
You did use 2 of them in the in the most recent battle.
Yeah, but I still had a few, like, because
Yep.
I still have like superior and
Oh,
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I don't think I have any health potions.
I think
but
I have like 2 or 3 of the regulars left because me and Tay stole
We're
a
fine then,
bunch.
because now we have a paladin,
Yeah.
and I also have healing potions that I've never used. So
Yeah, and I have healing, like limited healing, but I think we'll be
we'll be
fine.
good.
Yeah, I don't have healing potions, but
I
I
have
can
4.
regenerate. So there's that.
I have 4 potions of
I should probably go on
healing
the rest.
and
You
one
are on your way
superior
to meet up with a druid.
and a
Yeah.
filter of love.
Oh, I will
That's
do.
So I
fine.
can make
I can go for
anyone
it.
fall in love with me.
Not in the town. I don't need anything in the town. But as we're traveling, actually, let me see if my numbers are even worth doing it. Because in essence, I would be able to roll these every day. I'll roll them a couple of times. Perfect. Hey, I guess this is after the town. Whenever, it doesn't matter. Aviana, do you want to give another look at that book? See if there's any more riddles you can figure out.
Yes, I will take this auspicious question to heart. Hey, Mike, I'm gonna do a roll on that book that I have because I assume Aviana's also had it out a bunch because she's been trying to get as much of it out as she can so that she can give it to Laurel eventually and be like, eh.
Are you letting Laurel see this book, or are you keeping
So-
it?
So Laurel knows that she has it. Like when Laurel came up and talked to her the night where they talked about emotions and Aviana didn't like it. That was one of the books she had out. Was this old like battered journal. But if Laurel was there not paying attention to it, then she may have not like noticed any of the weird way that the language is done on the page.
And hey,
So
Mike,
there's that.
can we both roll? Because Almas can read every language now.
Okay.
Wow.
And it's not just a reading.
Well, I know it's a cipher. That's why I had to roll.
Yeah.
But I'm able to read the cipher and attempt it.
It's he's the thing allows you to do a roll this time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would argue.
Okay.
And he's been helping also the entire time.
Yeah, so I understand history
That
and stuff.
there's
Yep.
a bunch of stuff that's
Okay.
she's tried to help teach him, but it's a fucking nightmare. She spent 20 years trying to learn. So
So what do we roll, Mike?
Both give me a history check.
Erica taking 18.
Actually, no,
I was gonna say,
intelligence.
am I rolling?
Intelligence.
Just taking 18, add your intelligence. Let me roll for
sick.
mine. I'm going to take
I have
that.
a-
Mine's a dirty 20 for my
I have
intelligence.
a 21. More stories.
And so as you look through it, you're able to decipher the final like riddle in this book. And it's kind of they dance and live upon his breath as he carries along their offspring. And the journal entry would be so I was talking about hearing about an elf who moved through the trees like the wind, and that the group was drawn to them in the great forest of Revelon.
Can you just copy paste me that in a DM?
I can
Or-
send you all the.
Yeah, because at this point you have all of them, right?
I have
There's
all of them.
fi-
Great, yeah.
There are 5 like entries that seem to be special and had a kind of built-in cipher / riddle to them.
Yeah, if you can send me those, that'd be swell.
We have where
I
the
have
2
them written
waters
down.
meet,
Yep, I remember that one.
and which was a story about a sailor in the North Sea, or in the north, where the 2 waters meet, and he gave them a gift or something weird like that, and that was a hard one to read. You have kind of this in order. When a good deal comes along, you must strike while the metal is hot.
Yep.
While in the cold tundra, we met a man whose craftsmanship was godly, and the ground itself shook with each strike. The only thing more impressive than his works were his words. He would make it sound like the item was made by Unis themselves. We have when the sun is at its highest, all shall be revealed. while in the unforgiving sands, a building stood pointing towards the heavens themselves. We have
We saw
one
that
must
in a
judge.
side campaign.
Hmm?
We saw that in a side campaign.
One must judge
Yes.
themselves before they can judge others. In a place where my heart beats is where we found the one who sees both the good and the bad of each of us before making their decision. Sadly, at this point, I feel we will fail their judgment. And then
Okay.
finally, the last one is they who have met the end will have met Mortimus. And that is the entry. We'll talk about where they found. Yeah, it's talking about where they found this quote, and they were traveling northeast in southern Pyria on a small coastal village where they met an odd man who oversaw the village graveyard.
Last one that she just got?
No, that was, and then the newest one is they dance and live upon his breath as he carries along their offspring.
That one already.
That's the newest one that you just got.
No, I had that one before. What do you mean? We can talk about this later, semantics, but I have that quote in my book.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. We have all 5 now, and if you send them to me, then it doesn't matter the order I got them in.
Okay.
I'll look at Aviana. Hey, that's all of it, huh?
Yeah, I guess I can find for now. I mean, I'll keep looking. Maybe there's something else in here, but
Got a question.
okay.
What is the point of any of that?
That's part 2. Welcome to the joys of awful religious academia, where not only do you have to figure out the actual words they're saying, like physically what they're saying, and then you have to figure out what they're actually talking about. That's step 2, and I have to sit and think about it now for hopefully not very long. Or I have to ask Laurel.
If you need more good luck, just let me know. You're always lucky when I'm around,
Yep.
aren't you?
Yeah, it's really convenient.
Okay, well, we did make a deal.
I know what a wizard is. Don't worry about it. I know we made a deal. Sorry.
And so, is there anything else anyone would like to accomplish before we get to the town of Ditchin?
I don't think I have anything else. That's it for almost.
Laurel just wants to ask the entire group, ditch in. What is the name of this town?
That's what we said.
Yes, but what is the origin?
Oh, right. This probably wasn't a town when you were okay. I don't know. Someone here. It's and Aviana will pull out her map, which I assume does not look very familiar to anything that Laurel would have like seen when it comes to like town layouts. Maybe some of it is. And she'll like point and she'll like, okay, well, so I assume that this place is probably called Ditchin because it's a crossroad town, right? Because it's one of the you go different directions there. I don't know. I don't know why elves name things the way they do.
Some dude's last name was maybe Ditchin, and he's like,
Maybe.
"Yo, the town's named after me."
Maybe it's got a lot of ditches.
Maybe it's where he ditched his friends.
True.
He's like, I am ditching you guys, and left.
Yeah, it's a smaller town. I don't know.
It is a curious name.
What's so weird about? Do you reckon? Does it sound familiar to you?
No, it sounds like nonsense.
Most town
Yeah,
names
that's
are
fair.
a little bit nonsensical. I mean, we're really going to a place called Not Chicken.
I have
So-
questions about that as well.
Me too.
Okay.
I think we all do.
We know why it's called Not Chicken. So,
Yes.
okay, so welcome to telling you stories of what happened in the D&D campaign last time. Aviana takes the map and she goes over to a different part, to another province. She goes over to Pyria. She points at a town called Chirin. And she says, so I can read most times. I misread that town name as Chicken once. And it kind of stuck. And Bach was really fascinated a lot of the times by
Chalk.
Chalk.
that's what I said. Chalk is really fascinated by like the way we name things. Also, in that town, there was a family called Bach, which is where Bach the raccoon got his name from.
Yeah.
And Bach is also the sound that a chicken makes. I think that was the same town.
We also, I think, did tell Jock that there was a giant chicken there, sarcastically, but he didn't understand sarcasm.
Yeah. So we're very sure that we're very sure. We feel confident that the town we're going to, this is a friend of ours who left us. I don't know how time works anymore.
Months
I
ago.
say to the worst person to say that to. And we're pretty sure that we're pretty sure that we know he's there because he's called it not chicken. I mean, why would anybody call something like that if it wasn't some sort of joke?
Yeah, plus we know he's here in Revellon. So, I mean, you put two and two together, and him referring... Because Almas, hasn't he referred to a place called Not Chicken when you've spoken to him?
Yeah, I think he did. I think it's where we first heard the name, or one of the places we heard the name.
Yeah, so we're pretty positive that he is, in charge of this encampment / town, perhaps? I don't know how big it is. So.
Don't know how alive everybody is there, but no one else.
That too.
What do you mean by that?
This is a conversation to have right now before we get there. So who wants to explain who Chalk is?
Chalk is a big lizard man. Lizard folk. Were lizard folk around when you were thing? Green Sea? Any of that ringing a bell?
I don't know, Mike.
The Green Sea rings a rough bell, but it was a place not to be tread.
She looks at you curiously. The Green Sea was just a cautionary tale.
Okay, so the boogeyman is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lizard folk, which are like, big lizard people. Crocodiles, specifically. And they're like, they live in nature, they're part of nature. And then I guess the elves came in, and they don't like the elves, so I don't know if they're fighting or if they're just keeping them out of the Green Sea. He's starting a town, and he doesn't like elves because elves started stuff.
To know that he had said that he, started a war with them, or at least that was his goal, I think.
I mean, yeah, just because he says I'm going to start a war doesn't mean he starts a war. Yeah. But
against a very specific elf, the one that it was in his eyes destroying Revellon. Well, I mean, we kind of know he was taking over Revellon.
Yeah, it's like if you cut down a forest, you're like, nothing's going to happen, but then the trees come alive and kill everybody. That's basically what's happening, except for it's crocodiles instead of trees.
Well, and it's also the trees, to be fair, but the crocodiles are making the trees do things. The other point, the important part of this, though, is that we missed the actual point of this. So Chalk's diet, his people are very waste not. So anything that comes their way that can be eaten is edited.
Consumed.
Meaning?
This might be a giant Venus flytrap, if you know what that is. That's drawing people in for an easy meal. And we're hoping it's not. And we're gonna have a talk if it is, I think.
So, Chalk will eat people, but he doesn't go out of his way to eat people.
It's usually only bad people or people that are already dead.
You see, Laurel try to process this information.
Yep.
What kind of person does their enemies the dishonor of consuming them?
All animals.
Yeah.
Person is very different than animal, as we have discussed before when talking about your raccoon friend.
And
to be fair, if
Chalk is more animal than person sometimes.
The way that lizard folk, from our understanding of it, it is once you're dead, you're just a meat.
Yeah.
And I don't
think they see it as a dishonor.
Yes, that's the other
being-
thing, is it's not a dishonor, I don't believe.
Yeah.
I think. I don't remember. It's been a while.
think it's because they eat each other too.
Oh, yeah, I think they eat
believe.
everything if it's
Yeah.
dead.
So
Yeah.
if your body can provide sustenance to something else that is living, then it is seen as an honor, I believe.
I don't remember the details.
I don't either. We just kind of put up with it. I mean, it made getting rid of messes a bit easier. So
It's one of those things where it's just if he doesn't go out of his way
to
to
murder
make it an issue,
something to
but
eat
it's
it, then
something to be aware of before we keep going.
Don't worry about it.
yeah. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
be fine.
She looks very concerned.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, do you guys think that before we get, this caravan to Not Chicken, that we should maybe go ahead of them and just make sure
Yeah,
everything is
absolutely.
okay? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I really like these people, and they're not bad people. I don't want to send them to.
You do not want them to be eaten by your friend, you mean?
Nope. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly. But there is, I believe, a strong chance that this could be a safe place for them.
Assuming they do not die.
Well, I mean, if they die on the way there, they wouldn't make it, so.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think it's a trap. I think he is giving people refuse? Not ref. What is it when you're... Where's an area?
Refuge.
Refuge. I mean, we'll have to see when we get there. Yeah, we should probably go, like...
I mean,
when we're 8
you
hours
could
away,
always-
we should run up there and make sure,
Yeah, I mean, you could always ask him, perhaps.
I mean, you could try.
If he is eating people?
I mean, you almost.
You can just call
You can
him.
communicate
I
with
did.
him. And he didn't.
Didn't he say, like... I don't remember what he said. That's been too long.
I don't either. Yeah, maybe in like a day or so,
We'll figure it out before we
maybe you
get
can
there.
ask him. Yeah. Yeah, just before we get there, maybe just make sure that.
We'll conveniently send him a call when we're outside of town.
Mm-hmm. See what he's
Yeah,
up to.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
if not, there's probably another town 2 or 3 days away, and they can just turn around and go back to a normal town.
Mhm.
Yes.
Whatever. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it, Laurel. It'll be all right.
It's one of those things where it sounds bad
It sounds worse.
and it's
than
not
it is.
great, but it is that thing of it's just how their Blizzard folk are.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not
look at us.
malicious. It's not
Yeah.
ill-intended. It is just nature.
Yeah, and I mean, look at us. Like, people make assumptions about us all the time, So, until you meet Chuck, I don't know if you should judge him.
I have judged no one. I have just considered the information you have presented to me.
Fair. Can't complain. Just be on your guard, but you'll be all right.
Oh, you might be called something like Goat Girl too, or
What?
Oh, right.
Chuck has interesting ways of nicknaming people. Or you could be Big Red too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Or Big Red Goat Girl. Who knows?
She just kind of slowly spur her horse on ahead of you guys and kind of leave the conversation.
Where are you going? Come back.
I think we were
I-
parked for a
I think
minute
I-
because
I
we
think
were
that-
openly talking about this in front of
No.
okay.
I assume we quietly were talking about this, not like
Yeah.
when we talked about
Yeah,
Chuck.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that went okay, right?
You know what? I think it went pretty alright. I think we did good ish.
It is not going to work out.
No,
No.
no, we're
God,
gonna
I
have
really
to
yeah.
be careful.
We're gonna have to go ahead of this troop.
Oh, well, we'll figure that out in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So the group arrives into in the town of Dishin, and as you get there, you assume the knights are gonna rest up and stop in the town proper, but they just kind of you see Captain Hellrand come over to Luthander, shake his hand, and wish him the best, and he comes over to you. And goes, "Thank you for all your help, but we will not be stopping. There's still about 5 days left to Koschei, and I plan on making it in 3. We will be going on our way. I wish you the best in your endeavor, and please keep these people safe. I wish I could escort them the rest of the way, but alas, this is as far as we must go."
All right, bud. Keep it up.
Yeah, keep it up, but don't run your horses ragged. You know, they're gonna
Don't run
need
your
some rest.
people ragged either.
Yeah, them too, you know.
We will return heroes. Hellran, away.
Make sure you return.
Oh, if he just says that and leaves in the middle of a conversation.
He does. He turns and he just starts walking. And he just as he's walking, get up,
What a dork.
soldier. And you see him like rallying his troops. It looks like he has some sort of inspirational speech, and you hear "hurrah!" and the whole group goes "hurrah! Hellran! Hellran!" and they all continue on their way. They don't even stop at the town.
They bought in?
Of course they did.
Oh, boy.
God, sometimes I wonder what it'd be like to be a micro influencer, and I think it's kind of like that.
Influence
Anyway.
10 people.
I mean, Erica, you do it every week here.
My hair's not long enough for a hair flip, okay? It kind of just goes in one spot and just stays there.
And so, as you are about to enter the town of Ditchin, we will end tonight's episode. So, thank you all for joining us on this week's episode of the Isle of Misfit Rolls. Make sure you catch us up on YouTube on demand and on podcast services around the globe. Normally posting Sundays around noonish, sometimes later, never earlier. But till then, we'll see you on the Isle of Misfit Rolls.
Good night.
Ding 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 ding
Ding ding ding
ding
ding
ding
ding.
ding 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 ding.